Welcome to Meet Your Neighbor, the podcast that highlights the people and stories that make Westbrook Village a truly exceptional community. I'm your host, Steve Marilla, local realtor, neighbor, and proud member of this vibrant community. Each episode, we sit down with residents to learn about their careers, life experiences, and what brought them to Westbrook Village. It's a chance to connect, share, and celebrate the unique journeys that shape our neighborhood. Thanks for tuning in. And now, let's meet your neighbor. Regina Phillips Valsamis knows exactly where she's from, Chicago. And if you're from the suburbs, well, according to Regina, that does not count as Chicago. And I love that. This week on Meet Your Neighbor, I sit down with Regina to talk about her journey from Chicago to Westbrook Village and the life she built along the way. Regina had a successful career as an attorney in Chicago and still practices today. But what makes her story so interesting is the way she shaped that career around what mattered most to her, her family. Inspired early on by Perry Mason, she was drawn to the law, but quickly realized criminal law was not her path. Instead, she built a career with a family-first approach that reflects who she is. We also talk about her connection to Greece, where she met her husband there on a college break trip. Stories like Regina's are exactly why I love doing this podcast. There are so many interesting people right here in Westbrook Village, and I'm grateful to help share their stories. Real estate is how I support this podcast, so if you're ever thought about making a move or know someone who would love this community, I'd be happy to help. Now, let's meet your neighbor. Hello, Regina.
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
I'm doing great today.
Well, we have a mutual friend, which is your husband, Mike, and
Yes.
I love playing pickleball with him. Do you enjoy being married to him? Is it pretty fun?
I enjoy having him away during pickleball time.
Oh, do you?
It would just be too much. You have to have your own space. But yes, I do enjoy being married to him, but I wouldn't if I spent 24 hours a day with anyone.
Right. Absolutely. So let's learn more about you. I don't know much about you, so this will be a lot of fun for me. So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, in the actual city of Chicago, Illinois, not to be confused with people who live hundreds of miles away and say they're from Chicago. So that makes a difference. And
what was it like growing up in Chicago, in the real city of Chicago?
In the real city, it was, when I grew up there, it was fine. You took public transportation. You felt fairly safe. There were just a few areas you avoided that you weren't familiar with. Doesn't mean they were dangerous. You just weren't familiar with them.
Right.
And it was fine. And now it's a little different. Obviously, I have friends in very beautiful neighborhoods in Chicago that are not safe to be in at night.
Sure.
But things have just changed.
Yeah.
But it was great. And I happened to be fortunate to be in a good school district at the time. There were decent educational opportunities then in the city. Now, most of them are in the suburbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you live in the suburbs now? Or I know you go back to Chicago.
Well, we had moved to Northbrook, Illinois, so our kids could be in the same school district. There was a lot of things with people getting into different programs, magnet programs. My kids actually attended a magnet program in the city when they were young, and it was a great program. And when they did move to Northbrook, Illinois, where the schools are, some ranked top in the country on different charts on and off, they transitioned well into them because they came from that. If they come from any school in Chicago, but unquestionable, because these kids are really smart out there. Their parents really push them. So
And how many kids do you have?
I have two. I have a daughter, Samantha, and a son, Tony.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And so you grew up in the city of Chicago, then you went off to college? Did you stay in Chicago?
I went to University of Illinois in Champaign, Illinois, which is quite a drive. Yeah. So it's not Chicago.
Not Chicago.
It's very far.
Yeah.
But everyone there would say, I'm from Chicago. I said, well, where? They'd say Naperville, or they'd say some suburb. I'm like, well, no, I'm from Chicago. I know what you're talking about.
Right. Well,
but they say Chicagoland. That's different than Chicago.
Okay. What is Chicagoland mean?
Chicagoland is really the metropolitan area with all the suburbs. So they should say I'm from Chicagoland, not from Chicago. It's
kind of like in Minnesota when they say I'm from Minneapolis. Yeah. But you're not. You're from Brooklyn Park, or you're from Edina.
But Chicagoland is so spread out that if you told me you were from Skokie, Illinois, or Lincolnwood, or Evanston, which are bordering Chicago, it's forgiven. I get it.
Okay.
But when you're a good half hour, 45-minute, hour drive from the city's border, I think that's weird.
Yeah. Oh, I like that because that shows some principle there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
So I went to Champaign, Illinois. And then when I was done with school there, I had an undergrad in business.
Yep.
I took a year off to raise money and take my LSATs, and I went to law school in Chicago.
Okay.
IIT Chicago Kent Law School. And I did do a summer in Greece.
Really? Well, I think I know about the summer in Greece, which I want to hear about. But what made you want to get into law school? What?
Oh, I always did. I don't know. Perry Mason, probably.
Really?
But then I worked 1 year for an office that shared with a criminal lawyer, and they were buzzing people in. And I said, well, who was that? Well, that's the guy whose trunk they found a woman's body chopped up. And I said, I don't think I want to deal with that, because you don't know who's going to come to you as a client, who's going to show up in your office.
Yeah, you're
and I'm
obligated.
Like, yeah, it's scary enough when you're suing someone or in court with them. I've had people show up from opposing side because they're mad their lawyer didn't win the case or something and come in after me. But
really,
yeah, I have a loud voice, so I just scream across the hall and people came running.
So you wanted to get into criminal law originally?
Oh yeah. So that's what you saw on TV. You didn't see the boring stuff.
Perry Mason, Matlock. All those great TV attorneys.
Yeah, but Perry Mason was when I was really young, so that's what influenced me. The other shows came later, so I was already, But
I loved Perry Mason.
But then someone gave me advice that maybe you won't like law. You should get an undergraduate in anything that's really useful, and that's why I did business.
Okay,
which goes with my logic and math and all that. But people will do poli-sci, they'll do history, and they're great writers, and they're probably great at writing briefs, but they may not be as logical.
Sure.
Logic's really important in law.
Oh, absolutely. So what law did you get into then?
So I started with general practice, a little of everything.
Okay.
And it's really hard to do a little of everything.
Yeah.
It is really hard to switch shifts. If you're doing something the same way, just get better and better, and it comes easier for you. You spend less hours, bill clients less hours of work.
Right.
You don't want to be learning on their dime. And I eventually did more business type of things, contracts, incorporations, commercial transactions, residential real estate transactions for clients who I got from business. And then I ended up, as my clientele was aging, I got more and more into estate planning.
Oh, okay.
And that kind of what brought me into Arizona and other things.
Gotcha.
So we'll get to that. But that's what I did, a little of that. Mm-hmm.
Let's back up to your year in Greece. Because I think that was
It was a summer. It was just a summer.
Just a summer. It was pretty impactful.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. What made you go to Greece?
Okay, so I had never, undergrad, had money to go away. And do you remember when Ronald Reagan was in office, there was something with the student loans.
Yeah.
And they wanted to keep the interest rate stable for the people who are already on the 'Sure. And they stalled in making the payments. I'm in law school where I'm not supposed to technically be working 30, 35 hours a week to pay my bills, because when I went to Champaign, if you didn't pay your bill, they dumped your whole schedule. It was gone.
Yeah.
I was not a private school college person who knew that they'd wait for the money.
Yeah.
They just withhold your diploma. So I worked my tail off to pay. So all of a sudden the money came through because they got what they wanted, to keep that interest rate if you're already on the program at that rate, not to increase it, which was great. Then I got my check. So now I have this check.
Yeah.
And this teaching assistant for legal writing had just gone to Greece, and they had 2 programs, one in Thessaloniki, one in Athens. And she said, well, she did the Thessaloniki because she's parents' family was from Yugoslavia. It was then Yugoslavia. And she could go up and visit and do things.
Yeah.
She suggested the Athens program, which you could go to islands, and there was all opportunities, long weekends.
Sure.
So now I have money. I can actually do something fun. So I did a month in Europe on my own, ended up in Greece, and it was a 6-week program.
Oh, wow.
And that's where I met my husband.
Yeah. And so what was it like when you met your husband? Because we've heard his side of the story.
Oh, I don't know how much he's told you.
Well, he didn't. Well, Mike, he doesn't share a lot.
I know.
He keeps it close to his vest. But he explained that he goes, well, I was asked to show her around. Of course, I show her around.
Yeah, but he didn't speak English. So he brings
English?
5 guys show up to show me around.
Oh, really?
And he was the safer of the 5.
Oh, was he?
Because they're all like, Greek men. They just think they're wonderful and could flirt. And he was like the mild guy. He wasn't like that.
He wasn't the
They were like, beware, stay away. What are they doing?
Right.
But he brought his friend who spoke a few languages, who was well educated with him, and the other ones didn't speak English either.
Oh, really?
So one guy spoke English. I spoke Greek, but they were concerned I couldn't. And it wasn't wonderfully fluent in it. I was fairly fluent in it, but
Sure.
they brought all these guys, so it was a little overwhelming. So then right away, the next day, they all wanted to take me out again and again. And at some point, it's like I kind of clung to him for safety.
Sure. And how did you separate Mike from the group?
His totally different personality. They were just, kind of lecherous, checking out the American girl who came,
Yeah.
let's see, a summer fling or something. And he was
Kinda
just he's a
super
serious
macho.
guy. You know what he's like?
Yes.
He's serious, very secure. He's not insecure. There's just things about him that,
Yeah.
in the States, honestly, guys at that age were far more insecure than guys in Europe. I think that they have more responsibility at a younger age. They have to be in the military. There's just a lot of things that shape them,
Sure.
make them more mature. So his maturity, his sense of being, having some type of good self-esteem and security were very attractive.
So that's how you kind of picked your one of five. But how did did you fall in love right away?
Kind of fast. But first of all, beautiful environment.
Right. He had the environment.
Yeah, people fall in love on vacation. So it was a vacation. I was in law school studying courses, and they were challenging classes. It's not that, but you still had these long weekends and vacation time. And then when I was done, so the reason he was asked to show me around is because his mother from the island of Kefalonia, Greece, was best friends with my aunt and another lady. The other lady's studio apartment in Athens is where I was staying. She had a pied-à-terre in Athens to go to if they had to do anything. So he had his vacation in August because then Greeks all took off in August, a whole month.
Right.
Most of Europe, a whole month vacation.
Yeah.
We say 2 weeks, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Then now it's expanding, but no. So he showed up then at the island, and then we really had more time together because he wasn't working and I wasn't in school.
And then how'd you so didn't he go right to the U.S. with you?
No.
No?
We spent a lot of money on long-distance phone calls.
Oh, okay.
I would send cassettes. Remember cassette tapes?
Yes.
If I knew a friend was going to Greece, I'd send that over with, I would talk like I am now a lot.
Right.
And he would send me a message back like that. But then in January, he came. We had to do visas and all that.
Yeah.
And got married. We had a civil ceremony in February so he could start working, because in order to start working, he had to be married.
Yep.
Otherwise, he couldn't. And we planned the church wedding for November so some family members could come.
Okay.
So that's why.
Did he?
There's a lot of paperwork.
Did he make cassette tapes for you?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't that, because I left in September and he came in January. So, we only found a couple times where people could switch the tapes for us. Take them back and forth.
But that was pretty special.
Yeah. It was different. Different.
Wow.
Back then, no internet.
Well, and long distance was so expensive.
Very expensive. So you try to get whatever deal you could to call, and he'd have to be by a phone, and it was very hard to communicate.
I bet.
Yeah.
But and then
so that accelerates things. Here the kids can play around all they want with the internet. They can. Yeah. No. It's like,
how was his English when he came over?
Oh, he didn't know English. I had to speak Greek to him. He learned.
Okay.
He trial by fire. He did take some English courses, but he got him in working till he could do what he did, because he did machining, and he needed to speak enough to do that. But he picked up pretty fast. When you're stuck in an environment and everyone's speaking English, you kind of learn.
So you go through this, you're bringing your husband over and you're getting married, and a ton of paperwork. I'm sure you know
a lot of paperwork.
Especially with your background.
Yes. You have to get the right visa, then he gets a green card, and then the citizenship you can do. I know people go for years with green cards, don't get citizenship. He got his in a timely manner, but I know lots of people who don't get green cards right away.
Oh, really?
They're here legally to work. They don't think anything of it. They don't realize the ramifications of not being a citizen and being protected. So no, he got everything done, but also it's easier to do when you have someone to do the paperwork for you.
Right. When you have, especially with your legal background.
Yeah.
So you get back and get married. Do you get right into your law career?
So when he came, I was in my 3rd year of law school.
Okay.
So we got married, and I remember I went a Saturday to the county building to get married legally so we could keep going with the process of paperwork and everything.
Yeah.
And they come to school on Monday. They said, "How was your week?" And I said, "Oh, I got married." They're like looking at me like I'm insane. But we did not since we were planning the wedding, we didn't go to Greece that summer. We were still here and doing paperwork. And then people came in November for a wedding. And then we didn't go then. Yeah, we went the next summer. We did. We went in 85. I got married in 84. We went in 85 for the summer. And then we started having kids in when we had the first kid. That was 3 years later.
Yeah.
We went again. So all these years, we've been going from 3 years apart to 2 years apart to every year. And now I spend 4 months in Greece.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a Greek citizen. I got my Greek citizenship.
Oh, did you?
I was entitled to it because my mother was born in Greece.
Yeah.
My father's parents were born in Greece, but the paperwork would have been too hard on that end. So I did it through my mother. And it took me a while to get it. But even though I applied in January 2023 because I had to wait because of COVID, I had started the process. But with COVID, I couldn't go in there to the embassy.
Sure.
The consulate. They call it the consulate in Chicago.
Okay.
I finally got approved, but they retroactively date my acceptance as of January 2023. But I just got approved this year.
Oh, really?
Just like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Crazy.
So, do you love going back for 4 months?
It's weird. In summer, it's vacation land.
Yeah.
And it's great. Anyone would want to spend their summer there.
Yeah.
In the winter, it rains there. It's cold. It's not like, I don't know what I would do there in the winter.
Right.
I guess if you're in Athens area, there's things to do. But in the island, it's not like that. And the island is full of people who go there for the summer, who might live in Australia, United States, in Canada, in France, in Switzerland, Greeks from all over. Okay. They have homes there, and the island fills up.
So you always kept that connection with Greece. Was that part of the plan, or just you knew that?
Oh, I knew that he left everything to come here. So yeah.
I mean
we built there too and stuff. And so he's like, oh, a lot of people would have said no. I said, well, he left everything. We should at least do something you want.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Yeah. I can't imagine how different it is over there compared to here, especially from Chicago to the island. I assume Chicago to Athens is a little more similar, bigger cities.
Right.
But the island has to be just a
totally
paradise.
Different but it's a totally different lifestyle, how they live. Everyone takes their sweet time. They're finally, with tourism, it's perked them up a little, but they were very resistant to tourism, the people there. They didn't like to have to wait on anyone or do anything.
Really? Well, I suppose.
Yeah, but now it's really, developed. And
well, let's get back to your career. So you're having children and you're practicing law. What was that like?
A juggling act, but I arranged it so I could do appointments and things when the kids were really little, it was even harder. But once they were in school, it was much easier. But when they were little, I would arrange things to be able to file paperwork or have appointments when I could, or, have daycare and stuff. Yeah, it was work. But it works out when you can do things over the phone. And then they did have computers. Okay. It started. So not the internet like we see it now, but I was able to, get a lot done without having to go downtown to an office, because I was working downtown when I first started working. For the first few years, I worked, for 2 different law firms at 2 different times. So once I started having kids, it's like, no, I have to be able to really juggle my own time.
Yeah, I bet.
So then I went into private practice.
Now, did any of your kids follow Mike into soccer?
My son played. He played in college, and he now coaches soccer, but he's a high school physics teacher.
Okay.
So it's the high school he went to.
Oh, wow. That's got to feel kind of cool for him.
Yeah. So it's really nice.
Giving back to
right. And then he also, he was running the girls program and varsity coach of the boys, but I think he's going for his administrative certification because his boss in the science department is going to be retiring in a couple of years. So he's setting up to try to get her job.
Oh, okay.
So he's taking some classes now. So he lessens his load a little with that, but he's still active.
Do you talk to your kids every day, or how often do you talk to your kids?
Twice. Well, my daughter's getting ready for a wedding, so I talk to her more than I'd like to.
Yeah.
But it used to be 1 to 2 times a week.
Sure.
We try to do it on the weekend. Sometimes weeknights they'll call about something, but we try to take the time so they're not running around like crazy. But now with a wedding, it's nonstop.
So when you go back to Chicago, I mean, how long are you there?
I'm not going to be there maybe a week or two because I'm going to go to Greece to be there early for the wedding.
So she's getting married in Greece?
Yeah.
She didn't get a Greece man, did she?
Well, he's not from Greece. He's Greek, though. But my son got married in Greece 2 years ago, but she's not Greek. She's Italian and English, I think. Yeah.
And just because it's so beautiful there and all your family? Is that
because they really respect the religious aspect of a ceremony.
Okay.
For instance, if you're in Chicago and you have a nice wedding and you have the church and then the reception, people will skip the church and just show up at the reception.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But in Greece, it's tourist season and some have business, they have to work. they will come to the church and go back to work and not come to the reception because to them,
because that's the
the
important
sacrament of marriage is important.
Right.
So why would I have a church wedding somewhere where it's not as appreciated, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's why, and it's beautiful there. You don't have to decorate, like you're outdoors.
Right.
You don't have to. You obviously you put some centerpiece on the table, but we were watching the sunset the whole time at my son's wedding over the sea, and it was just gorgeous.
Oh, that's awesome.
And the church was it's basically a museum, the church. It was the oldest church on the island, and it had things, glass floor and over some ancient stuff and on the walls, and you couldn't touch them because they were really like from the 15th century.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I find it fascinating talking to you that I keep trying to talk about your career and it keeps coming back to your family.
Well, because you asked about my kids.
I know,
yeah.
But your family's quite a priority for you, isn't it?
Oh, obviously. Yeah. Because I could have worked for some firm 60 hours a week and not even had kids, right?
So did you always have that balance?
Well, I never really wanted kids, really, till I met my husband, and then I'm like, yes. But so that changed how I would practice law.
Sure. So you were always career driven until you met Mike.
Right, exactly. And then I had a balance.
And then you said, whoa, I got to. And was that good for you? You think that really?
Very stressful.
Yeah.
But when you look at life, do you care that you worked 60 hours a week and made a lot of money, or do you care that you did something productive, helped your clients, raised good kids?
Right.
You know.
So it's a
well-rounded life. I feel happy when people say they're rich. I want to know what does that mean to them, right? Yeah. What's rich?
Yeah, I tell people all the time that I'm rich, and my wife says, no, we're not. I go, we're rich in the way I see it, because I think that I have great friends, I have a great family, and that's the richness in my life. Yeah, money comes and goes.
Well, and people need to get that. My husband, my husband, I don't know if you know, he had 3 siblings that all died young.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I encouraged him to retire at 59 and a half when he could start getting his pension or whatever.
Yeah.
And he still kept doing some things. He did some, I don't know, he did soccer refereeing, and sometimes he would go out of state and all that. So he really loved that. It was great exercise, but they didn't get to enjoy any kind of retirement. They didn't get close to retirement age, and his parents got to see them pass. So it's really important what you prioritize, because why sit and work hard for retirement and then never get to take it, right?
And never get to appreciate it because you don't have good health.
So that kind of like, because I was working in Illinois as an attorney, I had slowly was doing more estate planning, and this one foundation that served seniors asked me to come on board. So I got licensed in Wisconsin, and then they said they were spreading into Arizona. So I got licensed in Arizona, and I would do seminars with them and sometimes meet with people, help them with their estate planning needs, the legal needs, not the financial. That would go to someone else. If anyone else, if they needed guidance, they either had their own people or there was a list of people they could go to for that. And we had already been looking, because friends lived in Sun City and had encouraged us to retire in Arizona. We'd come visit them, and beautiful. People are very friendly. It was beautiful. But that's kind of got me here, where Mike wasn't ready to come here as much as I needed to come here.
Sure.
And I'd go stay with her, but then we started looking for a place to buy.
Sure.
To be here, because we knew we wanted to be here eventually. We just got here earlier than we thought we would.
Well, did you so you are still currently working, right?
Right, but not a lot. I'm trying to retire, but I keep getting pulled in because you develop personal relationships with clients, and you know their life story, you know their goals, you know what they've done, and you have more history, so it's easy for you to handle it. They trust you. I try, if it's a new thing, to get them to go to a different lawyer, though.
Okay.
But I still am doing stuff.
Do you find it fulfilling working in estate planning on the legal side?
Well, because of the age that I am.
Yeah.
When I started doing it, I was fairly young, but friends are old, different ages. They're concerned with what they want to do, and if you can give them good guidance on what's going to save them, probate, just different states, but there are modern ways to take care of your estate plan that is helpful to your family.
Sure.
And you.
Yeah.
Especially the medical parts that people don't pay attention to when you need to get medical direction. You need the right paperwork in place. So I think it's helpful to people. So I enjoy doing it.
Well, that's good. And so you can't be working back in Chicago much because you're only there for
I can do some Zoom things, and I'm doing I've done some real estate for clients, and I'm doing something right now, but I can do it from Zoom. I'm getting the documents over there, and they get notarized at the title company. See, here they don't use attorneys for any real estate transactions, really, which is terrible. I hate to tell you. Yeah. So it's really important in Arizona to use a really professional real estate agent who knows what they're doing, because you see so many people don't read things themselves that are handed to them, and they need someone to explain it and come a little bit more prepared. You're buying into condo associations, you're buying into homeowners associations. Right. And they need to understand what they're buying into, because maybe they had a single family home somewhere and didn't get it, or they don't understand the deed, and there's just things like Arizona, you cannot get mineral rights, right? Just things like that pop up that people don't understand. Someone just needs to explain a little bit to them.
Right. I bought a handful of homes in Minnesota, over my life of growing up to be an adult and getting old. But before I got into real estate, I never knew what I signed. Right. Because I was like, I remember signing all these documents.
This is the big question. People say,
I don't have just signed.
They say, I don't have a deed. I said, yeah, you have a deed.
You have, yeah.
But because they have a mortgage on the property, they think the bank is holding the mortgage. But they don't. They just record. The deed gets recorded. Right. The original should come back to you. But either way, it's public record. You could look it up and order a copy. You don't go to these fake people who send you letters saying, we'll get you a certified copy of your deed. Right. You need this, and charge you $100 to get it when it's $10, right? Right. So you don't do that. But the mortgage gets recorded immediately thereafter, so that you can't sell it without paying off the mortgage. So people don't get that. Right. They have no clue. They think they don't have the deed to their property. There is an old way of buying from a person directly where it's an installment contract. You pay, and when it's done, they turn over the deed. Well, now you got to worry about that person passing on and not giving you the paperwork and chasing their estate and their relatives. And I've seen that happen too. Yeah. But that's not the modern way of doing it. You go to a bank, you get a loan, the deed is written, the seller to the buyer, and then you want to know how you take title. So there's a lot of little details that an attorney could explain to you better. Yeah. That people don't understand. In different states, it's different, whether it's community property state or not. It makes a difference.
I'm always shocked because whenever I have anyone sign, I like to sign electronically when I'm doing a transaction. But I bring the paperwork to them. I give them a hard copy before they sign anything, because too many people, when they go to sign, they just hit sign. They don't even look. No. And I said, I want you to read through this. And here's what, here's my knowledge of it. But if you have any questions, contact an attorney and look at this. Even though it's all AAR, it's all Arizona forms, but it's still not knowing. I mean,
people don't get it at all. When we first bought here in Arizona, the reason I went with the real estate agent at the time was she came prepared. She had, because there's two associations involved where I live in Westbrook Village. Yeah. There's Westbrook Village, and then I bought in a condo building because I didn't know how often I'd be here. Right. Maintenance, I wanted to lock and leave and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's two different HOAs involved. Yep. Two different set of bylaws and rules. Right. Rules and regulations. You're living with others. There's certain rules you have to abide by. Yeah. Most people get it, but they don't get it, right? And she came with prepared. She had a map. She had the amenities. She had all the information in a folder. I said, this agent came prepared. Yeah. So if I want to make a decision, I can make a quick decision because I can look at this stuff. I don't have to start asking a million questions, a lot of follow-up phone calls. Right. It's all there ready to go for me. So that really helps. So, having a great, I know you guys do a great job here at Realty One, but people just need to understand that if you see someone who's not prepared and doesn't bring you things at all,
when they show
that's not a good sign, because you're not going to have a lawyer protecting you at your closing.
No. And in some realtors' defense, different clients, they don't want to. I'll start going through.
Yeah, they don't.
I'll start going through it, and they'll be like, I said, all right, obviously you don't want to. She goes, just give it to me. I'll read it later. I get that, but not showing up with it is a big mistake, because you have to, because you don't know what your client is, if they're type A or type B, or and what their expectations are. So I always like to be over prepared.
Yeah,
sure.
and there's always a fluke, always something always can happen.
Yeah.
That went wrong.
Yep.
But if you know that someone's trying to come with prepared information, take advantage of that because you're not going to get it. You're closing here. They don't do it that way. You don't have a lawyer dotting the I's and crossing the T's for you. So you've got to rely on your agent here. So it's very important in Arizona to have a good real estate agent.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I appreciate that little pitch.
No, I'm dealing with one now, and agent in Carroll County. Is it Carroll County? Yeah, Carroll County, Illinois.
Yeah.
Or maybe the county is it's town's Carroll anyway. No, it's Carroll County, and the town's called Lanark.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing with an agent now who, after the attorneys have already made a good deal between clients, she goes and talks directly to the seller, rearranges. Now her clients just lost $400 because she made a bad deal after the fact and had them sign it. So, someone's got to look out for your best interest.
Yeah.
And you just have to know that in Arizona, it's going to have to be your agent because you're not having an attorney. In Illinois, it's your attorney because the agents don't have to be as professional. I'm telling you, they don't have to do anything with the doc prep. They don't have to.
Wow.
I know the title companies do a lot, but they're a middleman.
Yeah.
They're not there to protect you or the other, just to make sure that the title's clean and that the money changes hands properly.
Well, ethically, that's what I loved about real estate was when I started taking the classes, the fiduciary responsibility that we have. Once you're my client, your best interest is my objective. It makes it easy for someone like me because I just am. That's perfect because now I'm working for you. I'm not working for me. I'm not working for my commission. I'm working to make sure that I do everything in my best ability to make sure you.
And if you do in your best ability, the client's going to get to a conclusion faster. You're going to cut deals faster. Things are.
Yeah, you're gonna have fun helping people find and buy and sell homes. It's just a no-brainer.
And the first thing you learn in contract law is a contract is a meeting of the minds. So if you have not discussed all the ifs, ands, or buts, if you haven't read all the materials and you sign something, it's not a true contract because you're a meeting of the minds. Now you're signing paperwork that says your needs have been met.
Right.
So you're signing a contract. It better say what you think it says.
Right.
So you got to read these things.
Yeah.
And people don't get that.
Oh, no, I get it. Now we got your feisty lawyerism out. I love it. But unfortunately, we get it right at 30 minutes. But before we end, because we're already at 30 minutes.
Yeah.
How did you get to Westbrook and what do you love about Westbrook?
So when we looked in Scottsdale, we looked in Sun City. We wanted to be by the highway because I was still working, so I wanted to be accessible.
Yeah.
So Westbrook is super accessible.
Yep.
But we also want an elevator in case my parents came to visit.
Sure.
So our group of buildings does have elevators for only 3 floors. Scottsdale, it was like 6, 7 floors. It was not kept up. It wasn't beautiful.
Sure.
So we drive into Westbrook and it looks like a resort.
Yeah.
Because the water, it's just the golf courses, the water blowing up there, the clock, all that beauty. Then there's 2 rec centers. The way the walkability is.
Yeah.
People are greeting each other. It's not like regular streets. It's like you're walking within your community.
Right.
And it's green everywhere. Even the desertscape type of xeriscape, there's still enough cactus and desert flowers and things to make it really beautiful. But the people are really friendly when you walk in there. And I like that they had the option of the Village Square, which is the high rises they call, which I laugh from Chicago high rises.
Three
three floors. Yeah. The high rises. I live in the high rises. Yeah. I probably could jump and not break my leg, But anyway, I just think that it's really kept up nicely. I think you agree, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's really beautiful and it's managed well. There's so many clubs. That pickleball club is insane.
Oh, the pickleball is insane.
My sister and her friend just started this Gen XYZ club because the baby boomers music's a little out of date for them. So they wanted to go with a little bit of a younger vibe.
Yeah.
So there's, depending on what your style is, there's something to go to. Besides all the other things, they have pottery, ceramics, the glass, all that stuff is great. Yeah. I wanted to try that, but I was never here to commit long enough. Yeah. And then I leave in 4 months, but I think next year I'm going to try ceramics.
Well, if you ever retire, you'll have time.
Well, I'm trying to. That's the problem. I get pulled away. So it's just not 100%, retiring. And what can you do?
No, I hear you.
You have to leave and get a Zoom call and look pretty on the top. I'm wearing shorts on the yesterday I had a Zoom call. I had shorts on the bottom, but I put a long sleeve, lightweight knit So these people in Wisconsin at this library doing a seminar, I didn't want them to get jealous to see me suntan and that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had my face made up. I had my sweater on there, so I looked like it was cold in here too.
Yeah. So you weren't.
I'm a very kind person.
Yeah,
I could have really boasted. I could have shown my tan lines, right?
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, we're over time.
Okay.
Did you think it would go this fast?
I could talk forever. Unfortunately, it's a problem.
I could talk to you all day. Well, I really appreciate you coming in and doing the podcast. And
thank you for having me. I know you're doing a good service to the community.
Well, people love hearing about it.
By letting people hear about what it's like, because it's not all old people,
No, it's
and you're near the mall and you see kids, all ages,
Yeah. No, it's.
I was in a campus town. I had to escape and take a bus to the mall for the community so I could see people of all ages. Because I was at some point, Sun City, they're like, honey, can you see the lipstick for me? Can you grab that? It's all, unfortunately, it's a lot different age group.
Well, I feel younger and younger, especially when I see what all the older people are doing in Westbrook. And
90s playing pickle.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. So, all right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you have a great one. Thanks again for tuning into the Meet Your Neighbor podcast. Real estate is how I'm able to support this show and give back to our community. If you or someone you know is thinking about buying or selling a home in Arizona, I'd love to help. I also offer a free real estate review, basically a health checkup for your home's value and market position. You can call or text me anytime at 651-295-6830. Again, that's 651-295-6830. I'd be honored to help you or your neighbors with the next chapter of your real estate journey. And thanks again for listening, and be sure to keep connecting.